Jolana was an embracer of any creative digression I could come up with, and always just had this inquisitive, curious, beautiful spirit, and an incredibly kind of wise understanding of things. I think we often said, "This is an old soul. This is an old soul."
Yes, an
And
old soul who had an imagination that just filled her life with fairies and princesses and costumes and capes and beautiful flower crowns and making flower perfumes. And so she went through her childhood singing, dancing, wearing costumes of all sorts, and playing imaginary games with imaginary friends and real friends, and just her entire life was full of entertaining herself, other people, being involved in all kinds of creative expression.
yeah, for her 10th, right about the time of her 10th birthday, she had the title part in Annie, Tomorrow, Tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's funny, when you to hear you describe all the fantasy and her love of costumes and the exotic. Of course, it seemed like last night at our Egyptian party. This is what this little girl's always been dreaming of and waiting for. And 1001 Arabian Nights, and
Isn't
or
she?
at the Coptic wedding
Yes.
ceremony last Thursday, when her groom wore a gold cape, and each of them had a golden crown placed on their heads, and then comes the incest, the incense. Cut that out.
Go back to the beginning.
And again, it just seemed like, oh my God, this little girl of dreams and fantasies. It's all coming into fruition.
I said, this is what Jolana was born for. She was born to be a princess and wear the crown in her radiance and glory.
Ronnie and I met as teachers, and I think we both have a real passion for the profession, which part of which means, trying to look into and understand a child's spirit and maybe innate aptitudes, and guide them along, encourage them along. So of course we're going to do that with our own children. And I don't think we had to do a lot of that actively with Jolana, because she, on her own, I think, knew where she wanted to go, and into some kind of a field of helping people. And again, this awareness that we had of her being this wise soul, something in counseling, something in psychology, or
Social work or education.
yeah,
And she came from a strong political activist background through generations. Ron's parents were immigrants, and grandparents, and so were mine, and they were very interested in all of our lives. She has, through our parents, through us, she's learned about social justice, but she's always had a strong sense of wanting life to be fair for people and wanting equality.
yeah.
And she's been educated in peace education, so it doesn't surprise us that she has grown to embrace the values that she grew up with, and that she's surrounded herself with people who are also active social change agents and compassionate, loving people. It's wonderful to meet and put the names to the faces and the faces to the names, because she surrounds herself, and always has, with like-minded people, and they're the highest quality, intelligent, compassionate, caring. If you interviewed each one of her friends, you would see replicas of her and what she says and does and believes. And I think she manifests her beliefs through the friends that she selects. And so coming here, not only to meet all of these friends of both Sharif's and Jolana's, but Sharif's family too, and to bring our extended families all together, feels like it is just ultimately the composite collection of who she is and who she's always been. So it feels natural and familiar, and very very much what we would have anticipated and expected.
Another aspect of Jolana, another quality I really admire in her is I think she's always had a great respect for elders and for elders'
Yes.
wisdom. That sounds like a really self-serving comment, but I'm really referring more to people older than we, and she had an extraordinarily close relationship with Ronnie's mother, who was an amazing woman, and of just really really high consciousness and caring about justice in the world. And then both of my parents died young, but Jolana was more on more than one occasion. She wants to hear those stories. Tell me about your father. Tell me about Eric. Tell me about Linda. And I guess one of my favorite stories about my parents was just how we would sit down to dinner, and my father would open the evening discussion with, "Okay, so what did you do today to make this world a better place?" And so, even though Jolana never heard his voice directly, just getting those stories and that being part of her consciousness, I think again maybe helps explain a little bit of how she's come to do the work she's done, working with other people and developing this extraordinary group of friends.